Christopher Columbus, a name known to many. He sailed in 1492. This date is famous. He was an explorer. He was seen as brave. He sought new sea routes to the wealthy lands of the East. This is the story often told. A simple tale of adventure. His voyages were celebrated. They were viewed as great triumphs, a mark of human spirit and outstanding courage. He took bold steps into a vast unknown ocean like a hero in an epic. This was the popular image, the legend that grew. For many, many years, for centuries, this was the main story. It was taught in schools. Children learned of his bravery. Statues were built in his honor. Public holidays celebrated his name. He became a powerful symbol, a symbol of discovery and of the new world. But this was not the whole picture. It is time to explore further. What if this familiar story is incomplete? What if crucial details were left out? Details Columbus himself might have wished to keep concealed from the world. We need to ask these questions, to seek a fuller understanding. History demands a curious mind, a mind open to new evidence. His famous voyages, they were not just about exploration or finding new sea passages. They were also about conquest and the pursuit of profit. Gold was a primary motivation. This is a very key part. A part often missed in simple tales. It changes how we see him. Columbus kept a detailed journal, a log of his travels. In it, he wrote about his plans. He described the indigenous people, the people he met on the islands. He wrote frequently about gold and the potential for riches. His own words reveal much about his true intentions. Let us explore these shades. When Columbus made landfall, he did not find an empty land. The islands were already home to people. Many people lived there. The Taino people were one group. They inhabited these Caribbean islands. They had been there for centuries. This was their ancestral home, a vibrant, living world. The Taino had their own societies. They had their own rich cultures. They had their own languages and their own spiritual beliefs. They had lived there for generations. They were initially welcoming, curious about the newcomers. They offered food and gifts, a gesture of peace. Columbus observed them closely. He wrote that they were gentle and appeared to be intelligent, but he also saw them as simple, easy to control and dominate, easy to convert to Christianity, and easy to make into servants. This viewpoint was very significant. It heavily influenced his actions. A shadow fell upon their paradise. Section 4, The Weight of Chains, Exploitation and Enslavement. Columbus was searching for gold. He had promised great riches to the Spanish king and queen. They had funded his voyage, and he needed to deliver on this promise. The pressure to find wealth was immense. His reputation depended on it, and future funding too. Gold was the main objective. However, easily found gold was scarce, not enough to satisfy expectations. So Columbus turned to other methods. He forced the Taino people to search for gold for him. Impossible quotas were set. Those who failed to deliver faced brutal, horrific punishments. He also initiated the transatlantic slave trade from the Americas to Europe. He captured hundreds of Taino people, men, women, and children. This exploitation was a deliberate policy. Section 5, A World Transformed Ecological and Cultural Shifts. The arrival of Europeans brought about massive changes. These changes were not just political, they were profoundly ecological and deeply cultural as well. The world of the Americas and the world of Europe began to merge in new ways, with far-reaching consequences. New diseases arrived with the Europeans, sicknesses like smallpox and measles. The indigenous people had no immunity, no natural protection against them. Millions died as a result. Entire communities were wiped out. This was a devastating biological blow, a demographic catastrophe. New plants and animals were also exchanged between the old world and the new. This is known as the Columbian Exchange. Some of these exchanges were beneficial, but it also disrupted existing ecosystems and traditional ways of farming. Section 6, Myths on the Map, Debunking Columbus Legends. Many popular myths surround Columbus, stories that have been told for generations. One common myth is that he proved that the Earth was round. But most educated people in 1492 already knew the Earth was a sphere. The ancient Greeks had figured it out centuries before Columbus sailed. This was not his discovery. Another persistent myth is that Columbus discovered America. This ignores the millions of people who already lived in the Americas. They had been there for thousands of years. Furthermore, Vikings from Scandinavia had reached North America centuries before Columbus's voyages. He was not the first European. He was not even the first European to reach the New World since the Vikings. There may have been other earlier contacts. Section 7. Why the full story matters. Learning from the past. Why is it important to uncover these uncomfortable, difficult truths? Why not stick to the simpler, heroic tale? Because understanding the complete past helps us to understand our present, and it can guide our future. History holds valuable lessons if we are willing to learn them. The consequences of Columbus's voyages are still felt deeply today. Across the Americas, indigenous communities continue to face many challenges. The legacy of colonialism is long. It has shaped societies profoundly. Its echoes resonate even now in social and economic disparities and in cultural survival. Knowing the full story allows for a more honest and nuanced understanding of our shared human history. It can foster empathy and respect. It encourages critical thinking about how we remember historical figures and the events they were part of. It is about intellectual honesty and a commitment to truth. It is not about erasing